Hey everybody, what's going on? Today is July 31st, 2020. Got an interesting news story today as we learned that Buddy, the first dog to test positive for COVID-19 in the United States, has apparently died. He was a 7-year-old German Shepherd from Staten Island, New York. And back in May, his owners decided to get him a COVID-19 test. Now, at the time, the dog was not experiencing any symptoms. However, his owner had been ill with the virus, allegedly, for about 3 weeks. So they went ahead and finally found a clinic that would test the dog. Again, the third clinic, even though he had no symptoms. And sure enough, it turned out the dog had the virus. So today on July 31st, which is an interesting date that we'll look at very shortly, but here today, we learned that this dog died back on July 11th. And as we'll discuss in this video, not only is this somewhat related to the film Space Jam, as the NBA season just recently resumed, but it's also related to another film called Air Bud, a 1997 movie with a basketball-playing dog who could dunk. And this movie was released on August 1st, 1997. And of course, that's tomorrow. So tomorrow's the 23rd anniversary of this film. So we're getting news today that, and this is all over the news. It says it was last updated here on CNN on the 30th, but I noticed it was making the rounds on most outlets today, including this one here. A publication called The Margin. Well, anyway, today has 78 numerology, and this is the reduction value of the type of dog we're talking about, German Shepherd, 78. And remember, this German Shepherd was from Staten Island, New York. Staten Island equals 78 in the reverse reduction method, and Staten Island, New York, summing to 78 in standard reduction. New York also equals 78 in reverse. And when you read the article, you see that this pet's name, his name is Buddy, but his owner's name was Robert. And Robert also has this 78 gematria in the alphabetic order. Furthermore, the publication date of this story, July 31st, falls exactly a span of 78 days after the date that this dog was originally diagnosed with coronavirus, which was May 15th. Now, there's a couple interesting things about the names of the family here. Their last name is Mahoney. And the gematria wasn't really interesting, but think about how Mahoney rhymes with the word baloney. Of course, the woman's name was Allison, and not only does Allison have the son hoax code, you see this coupled with the man a lot, Mahoney with, Mahan right there in it, but it also is preceded by the word ally. So Allison, an interesting name in these stories. Furthermore, the name Robert has Jewish gematria of 317. Again, most outlets publishing this story on 31/7, the 31st of July. And when you think about the number 317, it looks a lot like the word lie flipped upside down. And intriguingly, the word lie flipped upside down even has gematria of 317. So let's get into the alignments with this film, Air Bud. And think about how Michael Jordan has been a name of a lot of buzz lately. The Last Dance documentary came out a couple months ago on the first day of Taurus. Ended right around the time of Taurus ending. And Air Bud, of course, kind of a nod to Air Jordan. In fact, Michael Jordan, in Aquarius, an air sign. Well, think about the name Buddy, the name of the dog that we're being told died of COVID-19. And of course, this propaganda, it's just never ending. We all saw it coming, but We didn't know how it would manifest. Anyway, in the alphabetic order, Buddy sums to 56, and this has been the huge number all year. Coronavirus summing to 56 in the standard reduction method. Now, tomorrow, August 1st, once again, that's the 23rd anniversary of the release of the film Air Bud. And one reason that stood out in particular is because I believe it was March 11th when the film Space Jam was released on home video. And I didn't have this queued up to look at. Here it is. Warner Home Video released Space Jam on March 11th, 1997. And, of course, this year, the coronavirus was declared a pandemic on March 11th in 2020. In fact, coronavirus pandemic summing to 11.3 and 220. Of course, we had Kobe Bryant summing to 113. He was buried in Corona del Mar, which is also 56. $113, a number of the National Basketball Association. That's the value of the National Basketball Association in reduction. So 23 years to the day of Space Jam coming out. And remember, in this film, basketball players get a widespread illness and the season is canceled. Kind of like how this year there was a big illness. A player got diagnosed with coronavirus the same day the World Health Organization declared it a pandemic. The same day Tom Hanks came into the news saying he had it. Well, the NBA just happened to resume its season yesterday, July 30th. So it all ties together nicely. And what I noticed about 23 years is when you go from the release of this film to today, 23 years, this is also 276 months. And in Satanic Gematria, the word corona equals 276. So without the end date, notice how Air Bud was released exactly 8,400 days ago. And I first noticed the number 84 in the Gematria of Robert, the dog's owner, 84 in reverse. But what's interesting is that this film was played by a dog named Air Buddy. And using the alphabetic order, Air Buddy equals 84. But there's more that's interesting here. Notice how Buddy has English Gematria of 1010. This is the Jewish value of COVID-19. The dog was a German Shepherd, which sums to 66 in reverse reduction. And this matches the Gematria of his owner, Robert Mahoney, 66. And of course, 66, another number associated with corona, which sums to 66 in ordinal. Another thing I noticed is how German Shepherd Buddy sums to 1033, which is very familiar Gematria with coronavirus of 1303 in that same method. And this Jewish cipher always yielding tons of results. I noticed how Air Buddy the dog passed away a span of 6 months and 10 days after the film was released. Remember, he was the dog who starred in the film. And the name Buddy equals 610 in Jewish. A little bit more on Staten Island, New York. Notice how Staten Island, New York, when abbreviated. Oh, it also has 84 Gematria. I missed that in the post. But in the reverse alphabetic order, we get a 201. And this is a huge number that's been all over the pandemic. Remember, Event 201, the pandemic exercise conveniently held just 1 month before the real-life pandemic broke out in Wuhan, China. This group of people here discussing how to most efficiently vaccinate the population. And the reason 201 is significant, you have William Henry Gates, the eugenicist, summing to 201 in the alphabetic order. Also the 84. This is also the ordinal value of 666. And Bill Gates, more so than any other person I've ever decoded, certainly coded with the number 666 from top to bottom. Bill Gates even has the 33 in reduction. Corona equals 33 in reverse. This story coming to us from New York, the state that's been hardest hit from coronavirus. 33 in the same cipher. And this guy's name, Robert, also 33 in reduction. So more literary theater by the numbers. Not a whole lot worth looking at, but something worth decoding nonetheless. All right, guys. Peace, love, God bless. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.